Viewers, today we are in PCEA St. Andrew's Church in Nairobi, where we deal with the interview of the first Rwandese minister ordained by the PCEA, served the PCEA throughout his life and retired in the PCEA. A minister who has been instrumental in the running of the French service at PCEA St. Andrew's. Rev Ananie Nduwamungu, who was just mtu wa Mungu to us when we were in school at St. Paul's. So viewers come so that we hear the experience of Reverend Nduwamungu transitioning from Rwanda, and when he was in Kenya for just 2 years, then the Rwanda genocide happened, and how that affected him, his family, and his ministry. Welcome, and may the Lord bless you as you continue to listen. And we want to take this opportunity and welcome Reverend Ananie Nduwamungu to the program. Reverend Nduwamungu, please take a minute and tell us who is Ananie Nduwamungu.
Ananie Nduwamungu is a minister for now, born in Rwanda, 16th December 1952, in a village next to the Lake Kivu, opposite the DRC. And I did my primary school September 1959, class 1. And that, I think I am among the first to go to school from that village. And after that, class 1, I had to trek another 4 kilometers to go to class 2. And then from there is a history after that in my primary school. Maybe I will come about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then when you finished your high school, what happened next? Before you came to Kenya or to St. Paul's?
After primary, I accessed high school 1967 in Kigali, in one technical school, official technical school, the only one in the land then. And I completed 1972. Then it was to look for jobs. That time the jobs were waiting for us. Yeah, then 1973, I accessed a college, but a few months in the college, there were some ethnic clashes, and then I had to leave that college, to rush back home where I was known, because the ground there was hostile. That whole year I couldn't go back to any school. I stayed home. And September 73, I went back to Kigali, now for prospective jobs. And I got one and worked until 74. I moved from another to another job until 77. No, 76. 76, I moved to another job.
Okay.
I was upgrading, looking for a better opportunity. That third one was at the National University in Butare, a town which is a university town. It was the only university, again, in the country, in the south. And it is where now I came to know the Lord when I was working there. Yes.
When you got to know the Lord, then you became active in the church.
Yeah, I came to know the Lord on 15th of May 1977, working in that university. And when I was in Kigali, working, 1975, December, I had met a lady who had come to visit her brother who was working in Kigali, and we were neighbors. And by coincidence, we have the same surname, Anani.
Okay.
So then that lady, her appearance shows somebody walking with a Bible.
Okay.
I was just interested. I invited her out. She refused.
Are you talking about Sisri?
Then I decided if she refused to come out with me, then I will go to visit her in the house.
Okay.
So I went to visit her at my neighbor, my namesake. And we started talking. We became friends. And during the period of time she was there, I was disciplined from job to that home to talk. And she somehow, she planted some seeds in the word. I got interested because during my high school, if I go back, I had studied in a school where it is managed by Catholic priests, Wazungus. So there was a mass every morning. Then after those years, I said, I have covered all my life that I have on earth with the prayers in that mass. So, and again, there was a little bit of confusion in the faith. So I really came out of church for 5 years. So 72 to 75 there, 76, it is when I was invited by the sister to that lady to go to a church, but I refused to go to a Protestant church. And she refused to go to a Catholic church. So we went to a middle one, which is an ecumenical kind of. And there, they were still managed by Protestant. I didn't know. And I was interested in the preaching, the word. And that same Sunday, I bought a Bible and a hymn book, Protestant. And the kibarua for that sister was to teach me those songs. Then from that time, we were going to that same church. Until now, I went to work in Butare. Then I met the Lord there. Again, invited by the same lady who was born again when she was in high school, like 5 years before. And they had a convention, youth convention, managed by Scripture Union. A missionary from Switzerland who had established a mission there. And he had mobilized the youth. They were organizing the youth camps. So she invited me. And I went to that convention in the weekend, a Friday. It was to conclude on a Sunday. And there it was plenty of students, a few professors. Fortunately, I met one gentleman. And this one, he was 2 years behind me in high school. And he identified me, said, "Hey, Anani, umeokoka." That is the first time I heard about kuokoka. I was taken aback. Okoka, what is it? I said, oh, as long as you are here, it's okay. Just stay. I say, I was invited to come, but I don't know what you're talking about. But I remembered when we were in school, he was an Anglican, I was a Catholic. And priests were not happy with him anyway. And they had brainwashed us saying that Protestants, they have protested their faith, so there is no chance to go to heaven. And that is what has confused me now. When I observed some of my lecturers and the leadership there, the priest, I could see they are not that holy. So now, Catholic, those role models I have taken, they are confusing me. Protestant, that is a fact. They are not going anywhere. So I withdrew from church. But now this opportunity to invite me, and I meet that young man there, then I felt at least there is one who knows me here, apart from the one who invited me here. Then walikuwa wananichunguza, because since the time that girl we met, she disclosed that after many years after we married. So my name had gone in all prayer groups existing in Scripture Union. So I was known. And I could see some groups, when I pass around, they look like they know me. But in my pride, on the last day they preached, it was interpreted, it was someone from London, it is English, and our country we were speaking French. So, but I followed and I was really touched. It is like I took my decision then, but I didn't want to stand, because all these are students. I am somebody working in the university. So, ni watoto. So, but I was convicted inside myself. And back to my home, the word continued to work at me, on me. 2 weeks down the line, I was in my bed. I couldn't sleep. I pondered about my life and all the questions I have about religion. I thought I was a good boy with those, being an altar boy, even at that time I was Catholic. And praying those good prayers, piously, trying to adjust my life, but out there doing whatever I want. So then, after I reflected on this, and that evening there was a broadcasting message from Bujumbura, another station of Scripture Union, still, another mission. And they talked about the life of Simon Peter and his character, his life, and from where he was to where he became, he came after Jesus commissioned him. And I saw this change. And then I reflect on my own life. Who am I? Where am I heading to? Because I want to go to heaven. But I don't know which religion can lead me there. And again, these few years I worked, especially 2, because even before I was not drinking, I was disciplined, but 1974, 75, and half 76, those years I had a very bad company. We were a group of 6 who had studied the same college and working the same company. And some of the 3 of us, we were village mates where we were residing. So there was a bar there. We had a table reserved for us. It was a mess. And I said, can this person be forgiven? And if it is possible, which religion that can take me straight to heaven? Those were my questions. And then I took a foolscap. I wrote down my life, those observations, and those questions. Because that broadcasting had said, if you have a question, write to us this address. I remembered P.O. Box 1400 Bujumbura, Burundi. And I wrote. Now the title, I put to Jesus. And I signed my name. Then next morning, I took my bicycle, went to post office, posted the letter. So I felt like I was a bit lighter. relieved, but still anxious. What will be the answer? The confession I had made, I felt the worst of the sinners. And I thought somebody will be curious to come and check on this guy, if he exists. I said, anyway, because there was an arboretum around the university, I said, if I hear somebody looking for me, if I don't know him, then I will just go to walk in those arboretum. But fortunately, 2 weeks down the line, I noticed that there is a package in the post office for me. Then I went there to pick it. It was a package filled with pamphlets. And those pamphlets, there was one that says, this is the answer. Everything in French, obviously. And the Gospel of John, the whole Gospel, and other pamphlets about salvation. So I went to that one. This is the answer. Probably it was printed, it was kind of published. Maybe somebody had the same question like me. Or it was those people who read my letter and then just published it that way. What it was saying, there was somebody who came from heaven looking for that which was lost to save the sinner. Are you a sinner? If your answer is yes, then he found you. I said yes. Oh, he found me. That person is called Jesus. Oh, Jesus found me. I started feeling warm. Then the next question. Oh, when he came, he ministered to people. And he preached about the kingdom of heaven. And people to repent of their sins. And he went back. Whoever believes in him will go to heaven. He didn't establish a church, a religion. If you accept him in your life, and you are the two of you, you and him, you are the true religion. You are the true church. So this is your answer. Well, hiyo inanitosha. So now I am free to go to any church as long as they preach Jesus. In the university, there was a fellowship. The Protestants were praying at 9. The Catholic, the Mass comes after they have come out. Then there were some friends who were in a theological school. Many of them are Methodist and Presbyterian and Anglican. And then 2 were coming from my area. Not the same area exactly, but a district before us, and which is mainly Methodist. And their church is in front of where I have a home in Kigali. So I befriended them. They had a choir. I joined the choir, and I attended their service. Very soon, their chaplain, who was a Rwandese, started Bible studies. And because of the way they saw me, they thought I know everything. They gave me to prepare a Bible study. And he gave me this study Bible. So I worked at it and I presented that Bible study. They said, well done. So no, I know something in the Bible. So, but actually, that period of time, I had time to read that Bible. I tell you, in 60 days, I read it from cover to cover.
Wow.
60 days as a novel, but I read it. And every time I meet a verse that picks my life, I underline it. That Bible, actually, I lost it with my friend who lost his whole family in '94 because it was the library I left there. The book, so many books I left at home, but it was underlined everywhere. Yeah, and I bought another Bible afterward. So then that is now the way I got born again in my room. Then the next time, the next youth camp was in April 1978. Now I was invited again. Now I went early. I booked my leave to go early. And there, now I met many of those people, leaders in the Scripture Union. I was presented now by my good friend, because we were not. I had kind of asked her through this communication, I am interested, but she had said no. She has never said no. That is when she felt concerned and sent my name to the prayer groups. Then that time, the Lord had given me a song, which I sang in that camp. It is only that nowadays we don't have those gadgets, but it was recorded, yeah, on a cassettephone. Yeah, a song of 12 verses. I sang it, accompanied by one of my good friends, the theologians, their student. And I gave my life to Jesus. I had given my life to Jesus in my room, but now it is public confession.
Yes.
And that time, Scripture Union became my home. I became a member. And that same year, I went back to Kigali, because after that camp, just as we were going back home, then Cecily said, now you can proceed. The condition that she had given herself and Jesus is that this man become a Christian. And she never told me. She went on her knees. So then we proceeded. We planned even the wedding in '78, 25th of August. So I had gone back to Kigali. We organized, and immediately I reached there, I found a choir of Scripture Union, which was made of all those born again in all the churches, including Catholics and the Pentecostals. So I joined. Very soon I was in the leading committee. And the Scripture Union, I was in the committee. Very soon, then we heard of AEE, Bible Society, Gideon International, because during those years of 74, 75, 6, I had an opportunity to do accounting and banking to a level of brevet in French. It is like a diploma. And then I became National Treasurer of Scripture Union.
Wow.
Yes. But working now, as I came back, I went to work as an accountant. Now I shifted completely from the technical things. In the university, I was doing a laboratory. This testing of material for construction, engineering, civil engineering, studies, facilitating those studies. Then there I went. I found another job in a company, but in 2 years, 1980, I found a job in a bank and heading a department. I was growing like this. As I grew in the profession, in the work, I became an elder in the church. 77, upon my being born again, by November, I joined the Presbyterian Church.
That's what I was looking for.
Because my fiancé was a Presbyterian. There was no link with where I was before, because I was completely kind of out of touch. And those other churches, the Methodists I could have joined, But again, it was a smaller church.
Okay.
Me, I look for big.
Yeah.
Yes. And then in that church, I joined the parish, Kigali parish, which is where I became an elder. And I became in the committee, evangelistic committee, comité d'évangélisation. We were 6 people. And then we used to minister everywhere. The churches were open to us, even schools in the Scripture Union and the leadership, you see, to access to all those. And Gideon International, to distribute books, schools open to us, preaching there. We were in the leadership there. And then the call. Actually, 78, the reason I came back to Kigali from the university, I felt the call. And I met the moderator of the church coming to see his student in that university, theological university. And we talked. And they found my level of understanding is good. I can be one of their candidates. He was a good man, but not that much in the practice and the procedure of the church. So when my firing as born again, new born again, I just resigned and went to him. And when I reported, he sent me to a committee. And this committee studied my testimonial. When were you born again? Just the other day. Last year. From Catholic. Not yet. You have to take time. So that is when I jumped to look for another job. Okay. Fortunately, that time there was no problem of finding jobs. Yes. And we planned my marriage immediately. Now in a new job and so on. But the young people in the choir became my family. Okay. And that time I used to pray to God. I pray, say, God, I need 1, 2, 3. Tomorrow he will bring them. That is how he brought me up. We were like going like hand to hand, like we are talking. Yes. And it was really marvelous. So we got married, and we were busy in the choir, both of us. In those many committees I was representing, but mainly in the choir and some the prayer groups, Keishas, Bible studies, we were always together in the leadership there. So then I stayed. When I got that job in 1980, I started my own project. Okay. I have to settle. I'm married. I have to look for a plot and a house. In 1986, I built my first house. And since that time, actually, I have not rented to today. So we lived in our house. Then I thought of looking for another plot, build now a commercial. That is when the Lord came and said, what are you busy doing? 1988. And I went back to church. I told the moderator, now I feel I have to reawaken that interview now. Okay, go to the interview. But the level where I had reached now, I was saying, that college of yours, I no longer want. I want where now and because I was also in the Gideon International, I wanted to learn English. I want where I learn in English, though I don't know much. I used to take a dictionary and a Bible, just to make a sense of translating the letters from headquarters, Gideon International. I was secretary of the Gideon International, our company, Kigali. So to communicate when you have international visitors, So I was one of those who tried to speak a little,
Yeah.
but not to go to a college.
Yeah.
So then I passed the interview. But with the influence of my executive committee, I said, sijamaliza my project, put it somewhere. 3 more years until 1991. 1991, February, I was working. And the Lord impressed on me that I am to vacate immediately. And I went home and I told my wife, now I don't know what the Lord is saying, but let me find the time because I am so busy in this committee here, cases everywhere. I don't have a time to concentrate. I took my Bible and my hymn book. I told her, don't expect me anytime soon until God answers me. It is when I will see me. I went to the Scripture Union Center. We had built a big center there. And I locked myself in a room, telling people, don't ever come near here. Don't need to talk to anyone. Don't want noise around. I don't need anything. It is me and God. So, one day, second day, prayer, reading, singing, sleeping kidogo, prayer, until Sunday at 3 p.m. And when I was reading, it is like I dreamed, or anyway, I read Jeremiah chapter 45. It has five verses, and verse 5 addressing, I think, is it Habakkuk, whoever. It was saying, are you looking for great things for yourself? Do not seek them. I am bringing calamity on this land, but as for you, your life will be saved as a price of war, and I will be with you wherever you go. Yeah, it was interpreted, it was French, but again, it was interpreted that way. I closed the Bible. I prayed. I opened again, I read. The text was coming out of the Bible. I said, this is what you want me to do? Because I connect with this saying, you have to leave now. Okay. Then when I reported on job on Monday, I wrote a resignation letter. That I told my wife, the Lord is saying this. I have finished my time in the bank. So I am going to resign. She said, I said, wherever you go, tunaenda. I cannot be your obstruction. I resigned, I gave notice of 2 months because I worked 11 years there. So after the term of the notice, the CEO wrote a recommendation letter to me because he argued first. He said, why are you going? You have responsibilities. Do you want us to increase your responsibilities? I said, no. Your salary, do you want us to increase your salary? No. I'm going. Because I am going to study. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and yet I had not even talked to the church. That was the answer to give so that he releases me. So he said, if it is studies, all right, go. Then I went to church. I tabled my letter. Moderator, here I am. I'm available now. I can go. He said, what? You didn't even warn us. We don't have a scholarship. I say, now I am yours. You give me the job in the church. I tell you, our church had never been audited since inception. So they gave me 2 accountants and me heading the committee. You go to all our presbyteries. That was time they were regions. Now they are called presbyteries. Regions. To headquarters of the region, to our dispensaries, to our hospitals, to our schools. We have high schools, and the management are pastors or elders and so on, where we manage those things. You audit those things. We give you 1 year. So we were touring the whole country every.
Wow.
Yes, within actually 11 months, we tabled the report. We were going from one station, we moved to another one. We didn't come back to Kigali until we finished. We tabled the report, and by the time we were tabling the report, there was another young man who had applied for a scholarship. Scholarship came 2 in his name.
Wow.
And they told me, then one is yours, the other one is his. I told him, choose where to go, which one is yours. He chose one, I took the remaining. Then to come to St. Paul's.
That's how you found your way to St. Paul?
To St. Paul's. Even coming to St. Paul's, I had not heard about St. Paul's much. There was one student who had, a Methodist, who had come earlier in Kericho. That is where I had a theological school.
Okay.
Then I applied there. They sent me an okay. It is admitted. I came going to Kericho. Then I came, there is a friend who was in Daystar. I spent a day there. Then the next day, I went to Kericho. To reach there, I found myself, all these are those who graduated from 4. Children. And the infrastructure, the standard was lower than where I did my high school. I went to class. I couldn't speak English. I found out these people are fluent in English. Now, this man will be last in class with these children. I said, I am wasting my time. I packed my things. I told them, I have gone home. And I took the bus. I crossed from the Kericho, crossed the river, and then took a bus on the road, came back to Nairobi. And they saw me coming back. What happened? I came back. I cannot study there. And then, fortunately, they had communicated with the scholarship people, Germany, that they will send my money there. And then I called home. I told the moderator, now, I went to Kericho, I saw and I left. I am now in Nairobi. What are you doing there? I had applied in Daystar and also in Kericho. I had those 2 admissions. Now I am going to Daystar. They say, Daystar, they teach Bible, they don't teach theology. You have to go and do theology. There is a school called St. Paul's. It is where we know go to St. Paul's.
Yes.
And there was this man, Karamaga, who was in the AACC, heading the theological desk.
Yes.
They say, go and look for Karamaga. He will introduce you there.
Okay.
Okay. Then I went to look for him, and he introduced me. He gave me just a small note to Dr. Bisem.
Oh, St. Paul's.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Perfect. Then I took a matatu, I went to St. Paul's. And there they say, oh, this is you are from Presbyterian Church in Kigali. This is a letter from Karamaga. Okay. They gave me a letter of admission and forms to go and fill. You see the procedure. Those two other universities, I had sent the forms to qualify to be received. Here, they give me admission and forms to go and fill. That communicated the message to me. I am admitted before I write anything concerning myself. Say, this is where God wants me. Now, the starting is in, I think, July. I am in May. I landed here on 1st of May, 1992.
So starting in September.
September, was it September? Or August, somewhere?
Yeah,
Mid-August. So I have 3 months. What do? I got to do English. I looked for a school, a best school here. It was the language center here.
Okay.
And I did 200 hours, 4 hours a day, for 5 days, 4 weeks. Yeah, because those looking for this, going here and there, so it was remaining about those weeks. And again, I had to go with their terms. So, because there was one break somewhere there. So I was doing beginner and the other level. 2 hours beginner, 2 hours in the next level. Then after 2 weeks, the middle, and then the advanced. So I was doing 4 like that. So at the end of the day, yes, I had confidence in English, but not very well fluent, but at least I had something to start in St. Paul's. It was competitive, but I managed.
Yes.
You know, when I landed in St. Paul's, I was seated with Reverend Alice Nkata, Methodist. You know her.
Yes, I know.
And hers was to take note, though her handwriting was not...
To Kairigi.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I had to really struggle to read her handwriting. But she took notes, me, I follow. Then after the classes, I take the notes, I'll go and copy the notes. I was working day and night. Yeah, at night I was not sleeping. I was washing my face in the morning, taking breakfast, going to class. Having worked through the night, having Bible, dictionary, and all these books. And the first midterm paper, I had 24 out of 30 in St. Paul's.
Wow.
That was among the highest. That was the maximum they could give.
Yes.
You know that. It built my confidence. Oh my. That far I had not been talking, but listening. Then I told her, now I will take my own notes. That is how now I managed. And there, you find us a year after. We joined that group, the
Presbyterian.
No. Yeah, the Presbyterian group, but the Walokore, here in Itwa Fellowship.
Oh, the St. Paul's Fellowship.
Yes, St. Paul's Fellowship.
Yes,
so I was found in that one. I was found in the choir. You found us there. All those things. Now you know from there upward.
Going on.
Yes.
Okay. Reverend Nduwamungu, you were in St. Paul's, and we were there when the genocide happened in Rwanda. How did that affect you as a student in Kenya, knowing what is happening back home in your country?
Yeah. Actually, that is 2 years down the line since I had started in St. Paul's.
Yes.
Then we had gone on holiday 93. And the experience there was not a good one. We had to cut short 1 week to come back because ourselves, me and my wife, were attacked. So then we found this area is not that good. So we came back, hoping that things will go on because there had been some political agreement and we thought it will be done and done with. Then 94 happened. We had friends who were on phone, who were talking to them. And one by one, they were now extinguishing because that person was no longer there.
Wow.
And especially I was talking about the family friends, the one whose 2 children we were godparents. We were just neighbors. By the way, our village in Gikondo in Kigali, we were a row, 2 streets of born-again Christian, mixture of churches, but just the group, it is like we were influencing each other. Whoever is born again, want a plot, we will find next around there. So, and then I mentioned to you that we were 6 in the evangelistic team of the church, where all of us elders. And one coordinator was a pastor. 4 of them died that same day, including that man, my good friend, with his wife and 5 children. The day of Pentecost, May 23rd, 1994. Though communication had ceased some weeks before, I tell you, that was a Calvary to me.
I know.
And we had some exams there. I couldn't sleep. I thought, okay, my family, no communication, but we are next to the Lake Kivu.
Yes.
And my younger brother, Alphonse, whom you know, he was my neighbor up there. He was married with a son. So he managed to evacuate his family home and himself. They left early in just the first days, the genocide, May, like the first week there. And he followed in May. And then they managed to cross the lake, to go to an island in the lake, just an island which belongs to Congo now.
Yes.
But no communication. Apart from hearing that my best friend had gone completely, and the silent now, all the phone gone. So there we were, until we started seeing those who came, finding us in St. Paul's.
Yes.
And those who were the bishops, Anglican, Methodist, they were in town here. And we could meet here and there. They used to have services here at this, on Ngong Road, this church, the Nazarene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Rwandese used to come, meet there. So it is where now we could come down, meet them, get the informations. And we could know so-and-so died, who was killed by so-and-so, or a plot by so-and-so. These are the things. And maybe those who mentioned that they have killed those friends of ours, they are there.
Yeah.
It was unmanageable. But as Christians, we couldn't even understand what is happening.
I know.
Yeah. Me, I thought the country is now completely erased from the map. There will be no more Rwanda. And the people have turned animals.
Yes.
I cannot look at one and see it is still a human being. What has happened? We left, they were in negotiations. They had a signed agreement. What happened? So then a good friend of mine in the leadership of St. Paul's, I will not disclose the name, approached me. Now that you are a lay person, a student, and the church there, it is like, it's no longer around. They migrated to DRC. we could, even that moderator had come around here. The Spirit of God is marvelous. The way I walked with God, I tell you, when I had, the only time he came to Nairobi, and he was in a hotel, I got to know he is here. And then that friend of mine in St. Paul's advised me, if your church hands you over to our church, we can follow up with your practical, licensing, ordination. And when they need you, they can call you. It was lingering in my mind. When I heard he's here, first thing, I came down, I met him, we booked an appointment with the Secretary General in the head office. Somewhere with Mwindi, who was the Secretary General there. Maniki. And yes, he accepted that the church can take me.
I remember.
And he had to write a letter. And being a Frenchman, it was my duty to write the letter in English recommending me to PCEA. So I wrote the letter, I signed, I explained to him what is the content, whatever we discussed, and then he signed. That letter is there. Yeah, so me, I am a Presbyterian PCEA, licensed and ordained here by Wanjao.
I was here
in St. Andrews.
at the ordination ceremony.
Yes. So that is how now I am one of these church. But immediately we graduated, 95. I made it my mind, let me go to Rwanda. See by my own eyes if there is anyone of my family who is still there. But you see, Alphonse had
left.
Had come around. No, we were together.
He had come here, okay.
But even him, he didn't know about our mom. Our dad had passed on 93, 8th April,
When you were still in
just 1 year before the genocide. Even my consolation was, this I may dodge.
pain.
Yes, it could be difficult to forgive. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So I had to go and know what happened to my mom. Because Alphonse left them in Congo. But after that, then the rural people, the landed ones are the ones in danger. But the simple people, whoever want to go back could go back.
Yeah.
But immediately, the new people, the new authority took power July 94. My mom said, I have nothing to do here. They crossed back. So she was at her home. I didn't know, but I went. 95, upon graduation, I told my wife I am going there for 1 week. And if Saturday I don't call you, you just tell my sponsors to look for me anywhere. If I call you, then I find it is possible, I do 2 weeks. And she agreed, she let me go. And you know, we had only 1 month to stay in St. Paul's after graduation to go. Yeah, but again, there was this agreement that the church had taken me on to do my practical. So they were also looking for where to host us. So I flew there, having told those sponsors, I'm going to Kigali, I don't know. Then I went. I found Karamaga had finished his term in ACC and went to reorganize the church, trying to reorganize. There was another friend of mine, neighbor also, just the two friends, they were neighbor like this. This one a reverend, was in study in Germany. He had come. And then they told him, you are no longer going back. You are Secretary General now of the church, and help me to reorganize. And then Karamaga became moderator.
Oh, okay.
No elections, this way. Yes. And I talked to him. Then I told him, now we are finishing. Now I have an admission in August for continuing my master's. But for this timing of God, when I applied in August, you see, 1994, when we were now these things, now looking further after I finished 95, we are heading to, I don't want to be called a refugee anywhere. I will not go to DRC, I will not join these people. So it is when God arranged this, answered this way that I do practical here. I wanted to immediately embark into a master's in 95, but they gave me an admission in 96.
Wow,
in 94, they gave me an admission for 96.
1996, 2 years later.
2 years, yeah. So I say, God, now this opening, and immediately I do my practical, I go back to school. That is, I didn't play any role in it. It is just God timing. Now, that trip to Rwanda, I got there, and that same man we met in that camp, when I was convicted, he had become my good friend, and also he got married, and we were in the same village in Kigali, and we were in the same choir. They went also roaming in Congo, they came to Bukavu, and they crossed back. And his wife had lost brothers, family, everybody. So they say, we cannot stay there with these refugees, whose hands is full of blood. They came back. I landed in Kigali, we met. And when I reached in Kigali, by the way, the Rwandese who had gone out there in the 59, in the 73, they had come back with the RPF. They took every space available, including my home and the home of my friend, and everything available there. So when I got there, I went to my brother-in-law. My house was occupied. And then when that same week, there was a crusade on our stadium. I remember it was a Saturday afternoon. And I landed there. I went to drop my luggage at my brother-in-law. I came back and crossed a market to look for anybody I know. No one, completely new faces. Because Kigali had been emptied to Congo, and it was occupied by people who came. But as I was crossing, I found one with a sign, Jesus saves. That was our signs of the Scripture Union. Yes. I went looking for until I get to that one. I found I know this one. You know, I was in the leadership. I asked her, where are the others? They said, there is a crusade at the stadium. I took my tattoo straight to the stadium. I reached there. It is when now the survivors, I met them. And then they said, oh, you are here also. And I thought I came with the delegation from Kenya, because there was a delegation from Kenya and from Uganda coming to preach, to appease people, and so on and so forth. Okay, I say, yes, and they sat me just third row after the VIPs there to facilitate some interpretations also. And there I identified those who from my village who are there, the born again. Then one of them gave me lift back. And there I got those information, so and so died, so and so died, so and so died. I learned those 4 of my group died the same day. The pastor survived with a strategy. He was living in the Butare, that camp, that university town, next to that university theological school. And they had locked themselves inside the house and asked somebody to lock the padlock outside. For the 3 months, they were living on rice to soak in water and eat. No smoke, no noise. And the children were small. They were not grown children. But the 6 of them survived. He died later on by sickness because he became even the moderator of the Kigali region there after the genocide when they came out. So among the 6, the only alive is this one. So then I reflected that verse the Lord had given me.
Jeremiah 45.
Yes. I will give you your life as a price of war. Wherever you go, my eyes will be on you. Even that time I took the trip to Kigali, you see I am going to a land I don't know anybody anymore. When we were approaching the landing, I said, God, am I here? Am I foolish? What am I doing here? I said, now my life is in your hand. Immediately, Psalm 32 verse 8 came in my mind. Wherever you go, my eye will be on you. I am back with that. That is the way I work with God. When I have to take a decision, when I am in a puzzle and I pray, He gives me a word. I take it as His answer, I take note of it, and I walk with that until He will give me a different one. So that is why I was confident to go there and meet everybody, go anywhere. That week finished, I said, now I met Karamaga and the Secretary General, and we planned already to go to visit churches. And we went down toward our place, which is 145 kilometers next to the lake. And we went to one of the headquarters of the region there. And we did organize a crusade, and we preached to people, comforting them, and then we slept there 2 nights, and then Wednesday, I thought of these 45 kilometers remaining. I cannot go back to Kigali if I don't get to my village and know what has happened there. I told the local pastor, he had a pickup, can I borrow your car? I want to go there. He says, okay. He gave me his driver and myself, with a short sleeve shirt, black, and a tie, and my nothing in the hand, nothing. I went like that. As you move, you find young people, military, walking at a distance of 50 meters, walking this way, and the first one stops. Where are you going? Hapa mbele. Okay, the last one, can I get a lift? Go up, panda juu. Tukaenda, unashukia wapi? Just kuchunguza naenda wapi. Namfikisha mahali, then another one. So, and the road had a barrier of uzi.
Okay,
just strings. Like a string, which you cannot see. But somewhere they will attach a paper. So you have to go slowly and be attentive. And when you get next to it, you stop. You come out of the car, you open, and you go stand. Then somebody will come from nowhere, from a bush, will not talk to you, inspect the car, and then you go back, and lower that one, you go. It was strategy, it was a military type. Actually, I don't know, I had never experienced such a thing. But that wisdom, I went through it, just like this. And I got to the village. The car doesn't reach home, so it has to stop somewhere, the headquarters of a location, and then I walk down the hill to the lake. Actually, our home was just to the lake, and came back. 45 minutes. I told him, in 150 minutes I'll be here. Go back to the center and park there. Kateremuka. Reach home, I saw 2 children of my elder brother. Where is mom? Sema, she went down to the neighbor. Oh, kateremuka huko. Kuniona. Sema, is it you? What are you doing here? Umepitia wapi? Where is Cecily? Without greeting me, those are questions. She was now out of control. How come I am there? So I say, oh, be at peace. Cecily is in St. Paul's. I came this day. I am left with 3 days. Today I spend at the church, tomorrow in Kigali, the other day in Nairobi. I can greet. I didn't sit. I just turned. Mume survive, yes. Imeendaje? Tumecross, tukarudi. Okay, fine. But I learned that another, her family, a niece of hers, that is my cousin, first cousin, and some families of her side, many, completely raised. I said, okay, it happened. We be courageous. Now I have seen you. I thank God you are alive. We are alive. I am going back, and I think I will continue studies, but I will come back. Okay. By the way, do you still think of being born again? Akasema nimeokoka. Wow. Hey. That time it was a celebration. As we walk, she gave me her testimony, and ameokoka. Across in those when they were in those camp, there was a Methodist church around. Wakawa preach, wakaokoka. So when she came back, she went to a Methodist church around. And the other sister went the same. Bas. So all those behind me are born again.
Thank God.
I was the very first to be born again in that village, the very first to go to high school in that village, and now all in my family who were still alive.
And you still visit Rwanda every now and then?
Now, 95 I went there. I came back. I now got busy in this and back to school. I went back 2000. After that, they changed passport. They changed everything. I did everything. So we applied another passport from the embassy. And then when it got to us 2021, 2001. Okay. Yes, 2001. Then the next year we went there to 2002. And from then, every year.
Oh, so you
every year, November, I used to go there.
But you settled here in Kenya?
Yes.
And you
By the way, if we had had this interview, the time we organized and I was not available, I didn't have an answer fixed. But today, I have an answer. I applied for citizenship 10 years ago. You know, file got lost and this. Then 2017, I applied for permanent residence. I did the interview 5th of April. It was approved 26th. I am now gathering the money. The fees is very high, but I am just close to complete. And next week I am paying, have my certificate. I am a permanent resident in Kenya.
Wow, wow, congratulations.
Yes.
And God bless you.
So
Have you ever asked yourself what would have happened if PCEA never ordained you?
me, the way I walk with God, I don't use hypothesis. I see his intervention, I follow that line.
Okay.
And he never promised me anything he cannot do. I cannot have an idea to say if they had not ordained me.
You are in God's hand.
I just saw it roll like this. Yeah, before in 94, after these things, I was thinking, contemplating, when I graduate, where to? So maybe applying for visas abroad to go and get lost in the world out there, because I couldn't contemplate Rwanda will resuscitate. Yeah. But when I have that opportunity, me, in my life, in my nature, I don't like actually living those Western world.
Okay.
No, their culture. And I had chosen maybe an African country. But when I found it is Kenya, oh my. When I see, especially some tribes here, Kikuyus, Luyas, some the Merus also, there are many traits of the culture, the words that are common. So you find you are at home, kind of. And again, now, these many years I have served here.
Oh yeah, those are many.
I have a larger family here than in Rwanda.
So now, in a nutshell now, as we wind up, 2 questions. When did you retire and what do you do in retirement? I know for many years you were in charge of the French service here at St. Andrews.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
I really thanked God I reached the retirement age.
Yes.
I have been praying, God, help me that I reach that age. Yeah, and I retired on the 17th of December, 2017. My birthday is on the 16th December. So I said, when they asked me, when do you plan to retire? The day after, if it is a Sunday, I will retire. Just the next day. When I have completed 65, just one day after, I retired.
Yes.
So I retired, and I am under Milimani North Presbytery, which still attached me to St. Andrews. I tried to mentor my successor, and because my connection with St. Andrews mainly, because after I came and I was ordained here, the circumstances had brought the French congregation, and I was there supporting Reverend Tambwe when his contract ended. Then I took over since 1998, by the way. Even when I was still in college in Neges, yes, I was still the pastor here. So work permit started in 1999 January as a missionary for this service. And this service is at my heart. And I saw God doing marvelous things. It is where these expatriate people who come to study here, who come to work here, and they are French speakers, they are a minority here. When they connect, they feel they are in a family. This congregation is family. Yeah, people are so knit together.
Okay.
And our new minister has introduced cultural services that we do like 2 or 3 times in a year. And when you do a cultural service, you find you are back in that context. And I tell you, this service, this church, I am here for the rest of my life. And especially this congregation there, as long as I breathe. Yeah. And my agreement with God is that I had, in my life, I have 3 professions. Then the engineering there, mechanical, and then the accounting, and then the preaching. I say, iyo, sintarudi. This is the last one. I'll do it to the last breath. As long as I am movable, even when I am grounded, I can still preach.
Yeah.
So I'll just be witnessing of the goodness of God. And for sure, I have to write a book because there is a lot of testimonies. Yeah, we went through like this, but there are those miracles that I witnessed. I have to share with the world. Yeah, and the Lord will be give me.
I almost asked you that question. Have you ever thought about writing a book of your experience? But now you have already answered that question.
There is one chapter,
which
now is lying somewhere. I had started, and then I got busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing your story, Rev Nduwamungu. And I know you have gone through a very difficult past experience, and especially with the situation in Rwanda. But we want to thank you for the ministry that you have undertaken here in St. Andrews and in the PCA Church. Becoming the first Rwandese minister ordained by the PCA, served the PCA and retired in the PCA. Thank you so much. And
I am fast in many things.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And I thank God for the work that you have done since our days in St. Paul's. And I thank God that history brought you to salvation.
Yeah, actually, that one, I owe her.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and I say, huyo hatalia machozi juu yangu.
Oh, yes. So thank you for giving us your time and sharing with us this day the experience that you have done. And we continue to appreciate the good work. May the Lord bless you so much.
God bless you too, Reverend.
So viewers, thank you for listening to this very interesting episode of The Regents. We'll see you in the next episode of The Regents. May the Lord bless you and continue to subscribe to our channel. God bless you.